most people coming out of complex trauma have trust issues. It's so important to understand that children are naturally trusting. They can't meet any of their own needs. And so in order to survive, they have to fully trust somebody else, that they're going to meet their needs. And children are very forgiving if somebody lets them down, that they'll trust again. So you think of a child who's on the roof and is told to jump, and they jump and the parent doesn't catch them. But then the next time they're on the roof, the parent says, I'll catch you this time. And the child just trusts again. They give the parent another chance. So it takes an awful lot to kind of knock trust out of a child. They just keep trusting those in authority over and over again. But in complex trauma, what is happening is two things usually. Either those in authority consistently aren't trustworthy, or they're inconsistent. So some days they're trustworthy, some days they're not. That one really presents the biggest issue for kids, because they keep hoping that next time the parents will be trustworthy because they have been trustworthy in the past. So it takes even longer for them to give up on trust. But eventually they get to a point where they feel betrayed. And that's, to me, to have trust broken over and over again is betrayal. And that's why often we refer to complex trauma as betrayal trauma. And so what happens at that moment is they go to kind of two different ways of dealing with that finally broken trust. Number one, I'll never trust again. Trust means you're going to get hurt. Trust means people are going to promise one and not deliver. You're going to get betrayed. The second option that some go to is, if I like you, I'm going to trust you 100%. And so they just keep going to people that they like, trust them 100%. So it's kind of all or nothing. But those that trust 100% all at once haven't checked the person out, haven't seen if there's evidence that they're trustworthy. All they're going by is their limbic brain saying, I like you. And so they set themselves up to get hurt again and again. Now, I think it's really important to understand the importance of trust in life. To me, trust is the foundation of a healthy life. You can't have healthy, intimate relationships without trust. And so, to me, the tragedy of complex trauma, or one of the tragedies, is it destroys one of the building blocks of a healthy life. So that kids stop trusting in order to not get hurt again, in order to survive. But once they get to adult life and they don't trust, all their intimate relationships don't work. It prevents healthy, intimate relationships. It leads to control, jealousy, manipulation, all kinds of things that are so detrimental. And so complex trauma isn't just affecting the child, it's affecting all future relationships. Now, trust can be rebuilt. That's, to me, the hope. But it takes years to rebuild trust. Once it's been knocked out of you, once it's been destroyed, yeah, you can rebuild it, but you got to be prepared. It doesn't happen overnight. It's going to take a lot of time, but you got to do it correctly. So how do you build trust in a healthy way? Well, you meet somebody, you listen to your gut first of all, and do you sense that they're safe? Do you sense that they are trustworthy? Then, if you do, you then trust them for something little. You trust them in a little thing. And if they prove to be trustworthy in that little thing, then you might trust them in a little bit more. If they prove to be trustworthy there, you trust them in a little bit more. You gradually build trust over time. As they prove to be trustworthy, the evidence has nothing to do with the limbic brain. The evidence shows that this person can be relied upon. So it's a gradual process over time where you trust a little bit more, until you get to a point where you go, I think I can trust this person with my life. There's another piece, though, to this that is so important for people from complex trauma to understand. Most people from complex trauma stop trusting others, but they also stop trusting themselves. So what has happened once they started getting to adult life is they started making bad decisions because of all their maladaptations. They didn't meet their own needs. They let people down. They didn't make good decisions in life. They didn't keep their promises to people. So they broke trust with themselves over and over again. They convinced themselves that they weren't trustworthy, that others shouldn't trust them because they would lead them astray. They would give them bad advice, make bad decisions. And so it led then to an internal critic that just said, you are totally untrustworthy, and they just don't trust themselves at all. And so an important part of recovery is rebuilding trust with yourself. And I think for many, before you can even start trusting others, a good starting point is to start to be able to trust yourself. So just a couple things about that. To me, a lot of people don't trust themselves, want to trust themselves, but they set unrealistic standards that they got to do everything perfectly. They got to not be human, basically. And so what you have to realize is, to be trustworthy, I got to set realistic standards. I got to set realistic goals. And I might have 100 different goals, but I can't do them all in one day. So I got to start with just one goal. And so I'm going to get up at 6 in the morning and I'm going to consistently do that. I am going to then spend some time doing yoga, meditation, go for a walk, whatever. But you gradually build new habits, new routine that is healthy, that meets your 12 needs, and you stick to it. Now, the key with it is you can't let your limbic brain be in charge, because your limbic brain is only going to get up at 6 in the morning, do yoga, go for a walk if it feels like it. You have to get the cortex as the control center of your life, so that I'm going to do this because it's right, not because I feel like it. I'm going to do this because it's healthy, and I'm going to do it every day regardless of how I feel. Then you start to consistently meet your needs, keep your word to yourself, keep your promise to others, and you become trustworthy to others and to yourself, and you're able to start trusting yourself again. Now, there's something else that I need to point out here. A lot of people coming out of complex trauma have in their adult life made a lot of bad decisions, and they've let a lot of people down. And people just don't trust them anymore. Their kids don't trust them. Their family doesn't trust them. Their friends don't trust them. And so the danger is to come into recovery and go, I am committed to change. I am going to be trustworthy. So trust me now. And kind of demand that everybody trust you right away. And then be offended that they're still not trusting you, that they're still looking at you with suspicion when you say you're going to go out with friends and they're, okay, yeah, we know what that means. It means you're going to make a bunch of bad decisions. So understand that for most people who've had their trust violated, it takes 2 to 5 years of a person being trustworthy before you're able to trust them totally again. You have to just accept that that's part of the consequences of all my past untrustworthiness. I have to accept now that to rebuild trust, people are going to be a bit suspicious of me for 2 to 5 years, and I can't get all offended by that. That's just the reality I have to accept. So rebuilding trust is so important, but it takes a lot of time, and it takes becoming trustworthy as a key piece to that.